Instagram stories for Wednesday, November 13th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today on the show, the YouTube team is going to talk about a new update to Shorts that lets you link to your upcoming live stream. And the head of Instagram talks about how branded content does not affect the ranking that you get when you post content and how the Instagram algorithm treats that. Here's a quick word from our sponsor. Welcome back. The YouTube Creator Insider account, which by the way is rapidly becoming one of my most favorite accounts on the entire internet, recently posted a video with two updates. Number one, talking about longer shorts. Shorts were historically capped at 60 seconds. Now they can be up to 3 minutes, but you may have noticed when posting shorts longer than 60 seconds that they were not posting actually as shorts. I say this because I personally posted one that was about 1 minute and 15 seconds the other day, and it did not show up categorized properly as a short the way I wanted it to. I'm going to let the YouTube team explain.
What's up, insiders? We have a short news flash for you today. Let's get into it. We've been getting questions about the rollout of longer shorts, so I've circled back with the team to get an update for you. The team is working to make sure shorts 1 to 3 minutes in length show up as such across channel pages, studio, and subscriptions, and now expect this to be the case by early December. We'll keep you posted if anything changes. Moving on. Viewers watching your shorts can now set a notification for your upcoming scheduled live streams starting in the next 24 hours. Your scheduled streams can be any orientation or even a premiere. This feature is rolling out soon to all users. And that's it for this week. From the creators of YouTube to YouTube creators, we'll see you next week.
A couple of things I want to mention about what she just said. First, it seems like the rollout of shorts longer than 60 seconds is actually early December, based on what she stated in the video. Second, she talked about a set reminder in shorts, which I think is a really interesting idea. This is to let you remind viewers about upcoming scheduled live streams that you're going to have in the near future. I was thinking that Instagram should have something like that, where you can tell people that you're going to go live. And one of my friends online, Heston, who by the way, I haven't had on the podcast yet, but I am planning on it. Heston, if you're listening, I'm going to get you, bro. Heston said that Instagram does have something similar, that you can do the same via the events reminder when you upload a reel. He is right. I had forgotten about this. It doesn't link to a live stream the way YouTube Shorts can, so it's a little bit different. But basically, on Instagram, when you create a reel, you can add a reminder, and the post will include a button to view event details, including the event's title and time. People can also get reminders before the event starts. That isn't exactly the same because it's not linking to a live stream, but it's nice to have this option. Okay, let's move on to the Instagram topics, starting with the head of Instagram talking about branded content. You may have had the experience in the past on Instagram where you create a piece of content, it gets a certain amount of engagement, likes, comments, views, whatever, and then you do a partnership with a brand for some kind of content, and the content that you post in partnership with that brand performs much more poorly than the content that you made for your own page. Why does that happen? Is Instagram suppressing your content just because you have the branded partnership tag on it? Interestingly, that's not the case, according to the head of Instagram. Here's his answer.
We don't downrank posts that you mark as sponsored. It helps us understand Instagram to know what is sponsored, and it's important for creators to be able to mark things as sponsored without fear of downranking so that they can comply with local laws all around the world. So we don't downrank sponsored content. It helps us understand the ecosystem to know what is and what is not sponsored, and it's important that creators feel comfortable marking things as sponsored so they can comply with local laws. So that's a myth that's going around that I wanted to quickly debunk. More advice coming soon.
Okay, with that context, why does this happen? Well, let's be honest, there are way too many ads on Instagram, and when your followers see something that looks like an ad, even if it is not a direct ad from Instagram, if it comes across like an advertisement, they are likely to skip it or not engage with it the way they would with your normal content. That's my theory anyway. I don't have any data to back that up. Just the fact that I don't spend time consuming ads on Instagram. And when my friends make branded posts, unless I'm incredibly interested in the product or what they've done creatively, I keep scrolling. We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into the head of Instagram's Ask Me Anything that he did last week. So stay tuned. And we're back. We're diving into the questions that the head of Instagram shared on his Ask Me Anything. And the first one what's a recent change on Instagram that people may not know about? This is an interesting question because the way it used to be before he talks about the change is a very bad experience on Instagram. If you were to open up the Instagram app and it immediately refreshes, you will see some content for a fraction of a second, which you might be interested in, but now the app has refreshed to completely new content, and good luck finding whatever it was that you saw for that half a second. Who made that post? You might not have been able to read it quick enough. What was the post about? Who knows? You're never going to be able to find it again. Good news, Instagram has stopped doing that.
We stopped doing something that we internally call rug pull. So we've all had that moment where you open up Instagram and you're looking at something, and then all of a sudden new content comes in and it moves, and it's really annoying. We did that because we were trying to load content and it was taking a while. So we showed you something that was already downloaded in the meantime, and it generally is good for engagement. That said, it's really annoying. So we stopped doing it. So basically what we do now is we load new content and we will not show it until you scroll, and we'll insert it below. We actually took a little bit of an engagement hit for this, but it is a much better experience for the average user. So there's no more rug pull.
Nice to see Instagram doing something to benefit the end user for once and not the bottom line. I am here for it. Next question. Tip for creator burnout? I'm going to let Adam go first, and then I will give my tip on how to prevent creator burnout.
Creator burnout is definitely a thing. It can be exhausting to feel like you have to constantly produce and produce and produce. So if you are feeling yourself burnt out, if you are not finding joy in it in the same way anymore, then I encourage you to take a step back. One thing I often do that I strongly also encourage you to consider is don't obsessively look at how much reach or how many likes each of your posts are getting over those first couple hours. Honestly, people sometimes delete things if they don't think they're doing well, but that's generally a mistake, because having one post that is not as good as your others isn't going to really affect your reach next time you post. So try not to just sit there and obsessively, if you can, I know this is hard to do, look at exactly how everything is doing as it's happening. Just look back after half a day or so and then check it, or look at all of your insights at the end of the week and then adjust, because just looking back over and over and over again can be exhausting, and it isn't actually going to help you.
My tip for preventing creator burnout is completely different. Everyone says, no matter how much content you make, that you need to make more. And that is wrong, because at some point you have diminishing returns. You might create more content, but the quality will not be as good. And if you keep up the pace of creating content as fast as you can, as much as you can, you will burn out in a very short amount of time. Instead, what I think is a much better strategy is to focus on creating the volume of content that will allow you to create the amount of content you want for the long term and still be proud of the content that you're making. I think this is extremely important. And also, don't let people pressure you. People will say, oh, you have an Instagram? Do you have a TikTok? Do you have a podcast? Do you have a YouTube? You are only one person. If you have a team, of course, by all means, use your entire team. But if you are just one person, it is very easy to get burned out on all these different platforms requiring different strategies. Don't do it. Let's go on to the next question. Do you think multiple posts in a day hurt a creator's reach? I think this is interesting. This person's question did not say whether they meant reels or stories or something else, but I think personally that there is a bit of a threshold for posting more stories, but you'll always see that your fourth story has way more reach and views than any other story that you post. It's not like people skip your first story to watch your 10th story. So I wish this person had given a little bit more context to their question. Here's Adam's answer to, do you think multiple posts in a day hurt a creator's reach?
I like this question because it gives me an opportunity to differentiate between overall reach, how many people you reach in a month, and reach per post, how many people you reach when you post with just that post. Now, posting more frequently, like multiple times a day, is going to help you reach more people overall. But it could, not necessarily, but it could decrease your reach per post. Maybe you're going to be tiring out people who follow you because they're seeing too much stuff from you. So it depends on what you're optimizing for. If you really care just about how many views or likes or how many people see each individual post, then I'd be careful. I would experiment and see if posting too much ends up in some sort of decline. But in general, that's different than if you're just trying to maximize the number of people you reach in a month, where high frequency can really help. And I've seen some creators be very successful when doing so. But it's also a lot of work, so you got to know what you're signing up for.
Okay, that is going to do it for the questions and answers part of today's episode. You might have noticed that I am messing with the format a little bit. Normally, the episode starts with ads, but instead of doing that, I'm giving a little bit of intro and then the ads. Going to see if that works better. Let me know your feedback. As always, thank you for listening, and be sure to come back next time for more social media news, strategy, and other important things that I think you need to know.
Let me tell you a couple things that you should know about me. A product manager, but do not have a bachelor's degree. But actually, that's factually a fraction of me. Another fraction's posting content irregular and irrationally. Still probably won't get a job at the Gram. They forgot, they don't know, or don't care who I am. That's why you never see me at the parties and events. My lack of followers must make me irrelevant. Don't have a course, a book to sell to make a bag of grand. Not a social media marketer, don't represent any brands. Plain to see, don't have an agency, but I got a lot of spam. Just putting in my work without the glitz and glam. Won't catch me eating fish unless it's shrimp or clam. No six pack, no risk that, there's a gym card in my hand. Don't have a full-time job, but I got a lot of plans. Stay plotting, dropping knowledge on TikTok and Instagram.